Hey guys, what's going on? Imaginary World here. Today I just wanted to break down some chord ideas, some melody ideas, and really just how you can build out a piano beat pretty quick and easy using some general ideas. I'm not amazing with music theory, but you don't have to be amazing with music theory to write a good song. You can actually write music pretty easily with just a few ideas. So if you're new to making beats, you want to make a piano beat, you want to make a melodic beat, you want to do something a little bit different, and you want to branch out from using loops, these are some ideas that are going to help you do that. Let's go ahead and get into it. Before we do that though, if you guys could hit the like and subscribe button for me, it'll really help me out trying to build up this channel. So if you like the videos and you want to support me, that is the #1 way to do it. And yeah, let's go ahead and make a beat. Now, if you don't have any like piano VSTs or anything like that, you can use the built-in Ableton one. I have Keyscape, so that is what I'm going to use for this just because I think it's like the nicest piano plugin. And I really like it, and so if I have it, I'm going to use it. But if you don't have it, you don't need it, you know, you can use whatever. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to use this C7 wash. This is really good. Basically, just pull up a piano. We're going to make an 8-bar loop here. So the first thing I want to bring up is on Ableton 11, we have this scale feature. Now, if you're on any other version of Ableton, you're not going to have this. You don't need it, but it does help out if you don't really know anything about music theory. It's a great way to kind of just get started. If you don't have the scale feature, what you can do is you can just punch in every note in a scale. So if we're doing C major, once you have that, you just hit fold. And if you move all these over to the side, it's essentially just like it'll work for scales. And that's what I used to do. I think let's go ahead and write something in B minor. It's a scale I've been working in a little bit and been pretty fond of. So yeah, so basically all I had to do was just come over here, hit B minor, and now if I hit the scale button, it's going to fold it. So these are all of the notes in our scale of B minor. I just want to kind of break things down for you really quick here. So basically, we're just going to write some chords. We'll start with this G here. So essentially, when writing, to make it really easy, all you have to do is skip a note. So if I pick this G as my starting chord, and I go up 1, up 2, skip. So you skip the A, go to the B, skip the C sharp, go to the D. Now that's going to be a pretty basic chord. So to spice it up a little bit, what I can do is I can go up 1 more and add the 7th. So you can already see how things are getting a lot better. We can go up even further than that and add this A in. That's the 9th. But what you can do is if you hold shift and press down, it'll move it down. So this would be like a 2nd chord. And it's getting a little dicey now. And if we hold the shift and move this G to for our bass note down an octave, and we can even go further, another octave. And you can see how it's really easy to start building out chords like this. Another thing I love to do is just press this headphone thing here, and it'll show you what this note is going to sound like. So if I, you know, play this chord, and I'm like, I want another note in there. Maybe I want that E. Maybe I want this A back down to the G. And so you can just kind of build chords that way. So now that you kind of have the general idea of how to make chords, and you have some ideas of how to spice them up a little bit, let me kind of just go through and lay down some chords here. So I'm actually going to bump this up to 160. It's another thing I've been doing right now, just working in 160. So I'm just going to kind of go through and we'll put these notes in. So these are my bass notes down here, and we can also have those a few octaves up. We might get rid of those later when we're actually working with a real bass, but for writing right now, this is going to be kind of helpful to hear what things will sound like when they're more full. So I have another 7th chord here. What I might want to do is this A is actually kind of high up in the pitch, and what I can do is I can just hold shift and move it an octave down with the down arrow. And what that's going to do is it's going to make the transition from this chord to this chord really smooth. And another thing I want to do is actually I'm going to change the rhythm of this a little bit. This is another thing. You don't want to just keep things super simple. You're going to want to mess around and move things around and find a rhythm. So now listen to this. So I'm thinking my next chord's going to be a lower chord. So why don't we go to this E? That just feels right, just listening. And a lot of this is just going to be going off feel. I mean, you guys listen to music, you know what sounds good. So just kind of trust yourself in this process. Again, we're just skipping notes. But now if you see this E is actually kind of low, so I can move that an octave up. And again, we're back to these smooth transitions. So let's listen to that. And then let's go down to this. We're going to go down to the D here. That just sounds right in this context. If you listen to this last chord, if we listen to this last bass note, I should say, it just sounds right going down to that. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start again with the D. We're going to go skip a note, skip a note, skip a note. Let's add the 9 in there. And then let's just hear how it sounds. It might sound bad, it might sound good. Let's go ahead and listen to it. So we have that. That one I don't think I need the 9 there, and I'm actually going to pitch that D up. Let's just see if it sounds better. Again, this is just trial and error. Yeah, I think that sounds smooth. So now that we have this basic chord structure laid out, you can try pitching things around. And immediately I'm liking that more. What I did here is I switched this from a D to this low B. I'm going to duplicate it. So, and then I'm just going to change this last chord to the D. So it'll sound like this. And then from there, all we have to do is kind of write a top line. So this is where you're going to kind of want to play things by ear. So if you have a MIDI controller, it might be nice to kind of play something along with it. But if you don't, it's okay. I mean, we can write things in. And I'm going to go ahead and write this in here. So start with this A. And again, I'm just listening. So like going from that to that sounds good to me. We'll move this note here. That note, see that? I don't like how that one sounds. So let's try this one. I might have to change the rhythm a little bit. Let's just hear how that sounds. All right, let's hear how that sounds. So then I can duplicate this over and maybe just change a few notes. So now that we have this piano melody here and it's sounding pretty good, something we can do to spice it up even further is make it sound more human, because it sounds very robotic at this moment. And you know, one way of doing that would be just by playing it, but not everyone has that option. And so I want to show you this cool trick that I found. If we take this velocity plugin, there's a piano preset for it, and that's immediately going to make things sound a little bit more human, because it randomizes the velocity in this range right here. So the highest it's going to be is 103 and the lowest is going to be 10. Usually what I'll do is I'll bring that 10 up to maybe about 40, and listen to it now. Now the next thing I can do is I can kind of strum these chords out. All you have to do is just move them a little bit. And I find this easier with the grid off because it's not going to snap to the grid. So if I just go in here and I just, kind of move them a little bit. Usually I'll keep the bass note 100% on, maybe slightly off, just so we have a little bit of a guide there. And we can also, you know, kind of make this more human by doing the same thing, just kind of slightly, maybe even carrying over some notes a little bit. Usually I'll make things more laid back by moving it forward. I don't really move things back because it's going to make it feel rushed. So if I just move these notes forward, maybe drag them out a little bit so they kind of overlap, it's just going to make things sound much more human. And sometimes what I'll do even is I'll drag the whole thing out like this. So it sounds like the pedal is on a pedal on a piano when you hold the pedal. And even that can make things just sound way better. So yeah, I mean, that's how you make piano melodies for piano beats. I'm going to go ahead and finish out this beat and it'll play at the end. You know, if you want to see more content like this, let me know. And if you'd like to see how I finish the beat out, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, other than that, if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.